Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So, I've been thinking and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play a completely new build that I've never tested before because fuck it. So, anything that I say in this video, you can try it. I have absolutely no idea if this is going to work and it's purely theoretical, but I think this is, I'm onto something here. So, I'm particularly interested in this new shield crush skill, mainly because it has some really cool stats. It's basically like building a really strong sword, except with your shield. So you like roll your weapon up to like 1,000 or 800 DPS. So I've done some number crunching, and it's purely theoretical right now, and I'm not sure how these things will interact. But it actually reminded me of a build I did back in 310, which was my Facebreaker Reckoning Gladiator build. So really, really good build, really tanky build. Basically, all it meant was I would go around Cyclone. As you can see, you'd see like this shield come off the side of it, and that was Reckoning procking. Every time you get hit, it procs on block. And this was taking down plenty of bosses. It pretty much did everything. You could sit on Cyrus, you could do whatever you wanted. Anyway, I'll link this video in the description. So it got me thinking, and I was like, okay, well, what if I take the tree that I built back when I built this build, and this was going back, 5 leagues ago now, and apply the same concepts. Interestingly enough, I have no idea what the DPS output's going to be, but there's a few things that I guess when you look at this, that make a little bit of sense. So in looking at the patch notes, Facebreaker, it applies to unarmed melee attacks. What I'm interested to know is how this synergizes with the shield crush skill, because when you look at the shield crush skill, it's both a melee attack and it's an attack. So if you're using Facebreaker, does the interaction mean that if you don't have a weapon, it classifies as an unarmed melee attack? I'm not sure, and I haven't tried it yet, and I'm going to be bloody trying it. We're either going to fail hard or we're going to find something really crazy here. Now, looking at the base stats of Shield Crush, and I'll also note that there was no real change to Ridgewald's Curse, and the advantage now that I didn't have back in 310 was that now you can anoint Ridgewald's Curse. So again, really good advantage. Now, forgetting about, Lion's Roar, and I never ran a Bottle of Faith in my original build, and Rumi's Concoction, you're running a max block character anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. Pardon me. Looking at this, you start to look at the damage and you're like, wow, so you get a base of 286 to 429 base offhand physical damage. It's actually not bad. That's a lot of damage. And then you get 4 to 6 added physical damage per 15 armor or evasion rating on your shield. And this is where it gets more interesting, because when you look at how shield damage multipliers work, you can get some pretty good fucking damage. And I've done a quick calculator here. So your 4 to 6 base min and max damage per your 15 armor, multiply it, so your total armor divided by 15 armor is a multiplier of 100. You take that, you apply that. That means your base damage on your shield, if you've got a 1500 armor shield, which is i.e. Surrender, which procs Reckoning, and you can roll better shields than that, by the way. You can get out anywhere up to 2,500 DPS. Is a min and max of 400 to 600 DPS, plus the base allocation, which we look at when we look at this. I'll just pull this to one side so we can see what's going on screen now. Bugger it. So your minimum allocation at 286 to 429 based on your shield skill. That means you've got a minimum, just for Shield Crush, you've got a minimum amount of damage of 686 to 1029 DPS for the use of a shield. This is completely opposite to the effect that you would look at when you were crafting a really good, jeweled sword or whatever. So if you crafted a 2500 DPS shield, you're looking at a min and max point of 952 to 1429 base flat DPS on this skill. To me, I don't know whether or not my calculations are right because I'm not entirely sure how this gem works yet. To me, that sounds pretty fucking powerful. And if you synergize this with your Facebreaker, so this is running uniques from when I got to endgame back in Delirium. But we're running an Abyssus as a dirt cheap item, Facebreaker, dirt cheap item. You'd obviously corrupt this so that you get the vulnerability on hit. And then if you could run a Surrender, or you could craft another shield and just put a Reckoning gem. And Reckoning is just the added bonus of being able to use a max block character. Taking into account, if you take out the split personality and intuitive leap, and even there, you're getting 1 million DPS just with Reckoning on a 4-link in your shield. Now this is going to go down with the support gems as well, so this is going to decrease. But looking at this at face value, it's quite powerful. And now there are actually some nodes that we can abuse on the tree that we weren't able to abuse before. So, i.e., start to look at shield nodes, in particular down in this gladiator area, for defenses with your shield. So nobody ever takes this 40% increased defenses from equipped shield, but this is a damage multiplier. Now this shield crush skill, this is a damage multiplier. So if you're going 40% increased defenses from equipped shield, and I haven't checked the node changes in the patch notes, particularly for this, because I've just been sitting here in theory crafting this, and it seems really cool. Then if they're not taking that multiplier down, that's another 541 armor divided by 15 multiplied by the base stat on the shield that you're already using. And we're looking at just with this tree, and I'll put this POB in the description as well, because this was my old max block character. And I've sort of worked it around a little bit. There's a few changes, and obviously this is completely theoretical, so I'm not going to advocate that you play this build. I'm going to test it and see if it works. But you've got it like nearly 23,000 armor unbuffed with between everything else. You got Molten Shell, everything else. We're getting 77% damage reduction with an Abyssus. We've got max resistances. Our Chaos Resist sucks, but it is what it is. The other thing is, looking down into further, you actually have 2 more of these shield defense nodes. This is sort of just smacking the cat with the stick at this point. And then gladiatorial combat. So per 75 armor, you're getting 2% attack damage per 75 armor. Now, on your shield. Now, there's an argument to say that this could actually do a lot of damage. And then we could really flip this, and we could go crit multi by a multiplier of 1% to critical multi per 10 energy shield. So if you're crafting a shield, roll a mod for energy shield on there, get like 200 energy shield, and that's an easy 20% crit multi on your shield, coming off your shield to amplify your damage even further. And we're looking at, a crit multi of already 467% on, a pretty good critical strike range here, 64.16% crit on a pretty fucking tanky build. Quite frankly, this build is ridiculous. It was a really good build when I played it back in League. And we're only running a Belly of the Beast here as well. We're not going crazy that, and obviously you would craft channeling skill, non-channeling skills have reduced total mana cost to get the mana control in play. And then I also had jewels in here that had mana on hit, because you're going to get mana gained when you proc your Reckoning, and or when you hit with your Shield Bash. And you're going to run Mana Leech as well. So this is quite interesting, and I'm really keen to see how this plays. Now, this also takes advantage of Precise Retaliation, Basics of Pain, Ignore the Split Personality, and Confident Combatant, which is 1% increased damage per 1% chance to block attack damage, which is a 79% multiplier in damage. We're talking about your melee crit and everything else as well, which will, because the shield crush is a melee skill, it will multiply by your melee crit multipliers. So all in all, really interested to see if this is going to work, because I'm trying it. This is going to be my League Start character. I have no idea if this is going to be good or bad. it's just really interesting, and I felt like I wanted to share that with everyone. You know, if they're going to break the meta and we're going to play new characters, fuck it, let's just take a walk into the deep end and play something that's never been, you know, that I've never played before, and you know, might come up with something really cool. I'm really keen to see if this is a thing, and I'm really keen to see if this works. But post in the comments if you know you've got other thoughts or you've got a different understanding. I'm interested to hear thoughts about whether or not I'm on the right track here. But theoretically, this makes sense to me, but I won't know until I try it. And if this turns out to be ridiculous, this could be, you know, maybe not a one-shot build, but a build where you could basically sit on an enemy and just slog them with a shield. To me, that seems like a lot of fun. Not the fastest clear speed, but definitely one of the higher end of survivability sort of level builds. Anyway, post a comment on what you think about my logic and my understanding here. I'll put a link to my old Facebreaker Reckoning build in the description. I'll also put a link to the POB in the description. You can pick it apart. Now the new skills aren't in the POB yet, so we can't test damage numbers, and we also can't test the changes to the support gems or anything like that. And I'll note it again, like I did at the start. This video is completely theoretical. I've got no idea if this is going to work. I'm not going to advocate this to anybody to try, but I just wanted to share my thoughts and let everyone know that I'm just going to go balls deep into this league and play something I've never played before, because you know it seems like a lot of fun. Anyway, like and sub, and until next time, bye.